day, attractive thinker. Dr. Toni Hatton here. So delighted to be here with you based on the attractive thinker movement. I'm excited to share with you insight and revelation and clarity and motivation and inspiration about how to live beyond the break, giving yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, the Attractive Thinker Guru, is the place you want to be because it's an opportunity for you to book your complimentary consultation, your free Get Unstuck coaching session. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the homepage and click that link. Get on my calendar so we can shine the light and get you moving in life because it's time for you to break away. What are we talking about? We're going to shine the light for you today on that. Welcome my co-host Tichet Bradshaw to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Welcome to Shet.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. It's such a great day to be alive.
It really, really is. When you hear us say that all of the time, I want you to think about that. It is a great day to be alive, no matter what's going on. As long as you're breathing, we can get through it. As attractive thinkers, as long as you're breathing, there's an opportunity for things to change on the other side of that. This is why we host these episodes, because we want you to know that there is a life beyond the break. There is a life beyond a success. There is a life beyond a heartbreak or a breakup or a move or a change or a transition. There is another life beyond that. And if we don't know that, if we don't see that, we don't have a visual of that, we don't have the motivation or the fire or the passion and the drive to pull us to the other side, to pull us beyond that break, to pull us beyond that disappointment. If you can't see, I mean, when we talk about can't see, I mean like a blank canvas, not even white, not even a white canvas, just dark. You don't see anything. I remember when my son was moving into his college dorm. Prior to that, I'll say maybe a couple of months before that, because I'm a visionary and I'm a creative and I can see beyond what I'm looking at. And what I mean by that is you have to have a certain eye for vision, being the ability to see something before it materializes. That's what I'm trying to say. So I have the ability to do that. And a whole lot of other people do, but some people do not. And I was not aware of that. So I asked him, I said, what would you like for your college dorm to look like? I said, what color curtains do you want? What kind of decorations do you want? Because I like doing things ahead of time and I can create the room before we get in there. He was like, my vision don't work like that. I don't work like that. He says, I know you see things before they happen. He said, I have to get to the dorm and I have to be in the room and then I'll be able to tell you what I would like to happen. And I looked at him. I had to consider that. I was like, wow, because if you're a seer, you think everybody can see. If you're a visionary, you think everybody can see that way, but everybody does not see that way. So when we talk about breaking away, if you don't see what you're breaking away and into, you're not going to have the motivation, because how many people do you know will run full force into the dark? How many people do you know? I mean, think about it. When I was a kid, if we had to go down in the basement, I'm scared because it's what? It's dark down there. Or, you know, if you heard a sound, you don't want to look under the bed. Why? Because it's dark under there. Or you don't want to open the closet door because it's dark in there. I remember when we were kids and my mom was the one who had the key to open up the church, you know, to turn the heat on and turn the light. Now, here's the deal. She would unlock the church. And in order to get to the light, you know how it's so easy when you come in your house, the switch is right there at the door. You can turn the light on before you proceed to come in the house. Well, when she unlocked the church, you had to run down the entire length of the church to get to the light switch to turn it on. And you're walking or running in the dark. You're so afraid. And we as kids, we were afraid. My mom was like, okay, go down there and turn the lights on. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. You do it. Talking to my other siblings. No, you do it. We all like, no, you do it. I did it last time. No, you do it. And we actually had to, and I can still feel what that feels like. I can still feel what that feels like to move swiftly in the dark not knowing what's in front of you, or if somebody's going to come out of one of them pews, or out of that closet, or from underneath one of those chairs, or behind that piano. You don't know who's in there. It's pitch black dark, and all you know is when I get to the end of this aisle, that last bench, I got to move over to the right a little bit, and then keep going forward past the piano, and then feel for the light switch. And I can feel, now I'm describing this because this is the same process that happens in our lives. I can feel what that darkness feels like on my shoulders, on my back, on my sides, on my right ear, my left ear. I can feel, darkness has a feeling. Darkness is not just something you see, it has a feeling, the feeling of darkness. Darkness has a sound, the sound of darkness. It's not just something that you see. And when it comes time to break away from something, if you don't have a vision for what you're breaking towards or breaking into, it's total darkness. And we were taught to be afraid of the dark. To shine the light for us and help our attractive thinkers understand clearly what that process is like when you're breaking away from something. Because a lot of times when we're breaking away, we may not be around people who understand what we're doing with our lives, or who understand what's going on inside of us spiritually. And to us, we're breaking away, but to them, it might appear to be something totally different. Talk to us about that.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things too, Dr. Tony, while you were talking, that I thought about is when you're in the dark, one of the things we want to break away from is fear. Not being so afraid of the dark that we're crippled or stifled. Have that desire and that will to push forward, to believe, having that hope that you can make it out of this. So that you are looking for something. So one of the first things we want to do with breaking away is, like we always say, assess where you are, understanding where you are, and then know that this is not permanent. Darkness is not a permanent thing. Darkness has its place in your life. In the darkness, you will appreciate the light more. In the darkness, so many things are discovered. Your strength is discovered in the darkness. So many things that you learn even in the dark. You have to feel, like you said, Dr. Tony, you're feeling your way around, but you are feeling for something. So one of the things we have to have is courage. We have to have the courage to push through the darkness so that we can find the light. Another thing that we want to have in order for us to break away is what tools are we using, or what do we have? Do we have a flashlight, something that can help lead us and guide us? What voice are we listening to let us know direction? Where are we going? You have some sense of direction, or following the spirit, being obedient to wherever it says move to the left, move to the right. You're just following your spirit, you're following your instinct, and you're having the courage to do something. Also, increasing your hope. When you find ways to increase your hope, that gives you more strength to be able to first know that you can make it through this darkness, and that there is light and life on the other side of this, and that you don't have to stay stuck where you are. You can break away, but it's going to take determination. It's going to take courage. It's going to take tools. It's going to take hope. And here's the thing. If you find yourself in a hopeless position and you're sitting in the dark, then one of the things we want to tell you is increasing your hope. Number one, gives you the strength to move, right? Because even if you got the wisdom, and when I pray for stuff, right, I pray specifically, but one of the things I do is say, God, give me wisdom, and then give me the courage to do what wisdom tells me to do. Because sometimes you might have gotten the wisdom, but you might not have courage, or you might have the courage, but you might not have the wisdom. You want to have a balance of things, so that you can operate and know when to move, when not to move, when to duck, when to run, because there's a time and place for everything, and if you're walking around in the dark, you want to know what what that time requires you to move to the left or to the right. It might not always be straight. You might not be walking always a straight road, but you have to know that you are going to make it to your destination. But some of the ways of increasing your hope, if you are hopeless, that is understanding that you are not a failure, not judging yourself for number one, being in the dark. Increasing your hope, letting yourself know that people have made it through the dark. People have brought great things out of the dark. So many things were created even in the dark. Being in the dark does not take away from your power, but knowing that you always have the ability to get up. All you have to do is have the will to get up. Fight, have the will to get up. A little bit of hope will go a long way. Some of the things that I was reading over the weekend, Dr. Toni, when it comes to increasing your hope or increasing your vibration, is maybe doing something that appeals to the senses so that you can ignite yourself and allow your spirit to feel alive. And when I say appealing to the senses, I of course I mean taste, touch, see, smell, hear. Of course I mean those things. But I'm also talking about insight, wisdom, clarity, meaning, and purpose. Those are other senses as well. Those are your internal senses that sometimes we let fall to the wayside for physical senses. So we have to get to a point where we're appealing to all the senses. You find something that, in order to find something to ignite you or increase your hope and vibration, you have to find something that will give you some insight. So when you're sitting in that dark and you find something that gives you that insight, that alone will pull you further, pull you closer to the light. You're like, okay, I didn't know this before. I didn't understand this is going on. And Dr. Toni, you said earlier, we were transforming. It lets you know that we are being transformed, that this is not just a place of stuff, but that you have to go through specific processes. Those are things that clarity brings, meaning, wisdom, all that stuff brings. But having that courage to step out, regardless of whether or not all your ducks are in a row, regardless of not waiting for other people to come and deliver us, not waiting for confirmation for somebody to tell you to move. And yes, look, you need people in your life that can speak a word to you when you can't hear, or help you gain vision when you can't see. People that will help you when you're tired, help you lift up your arm when you're tired. You need people in your life that will support you, but you got to be careful of who those people are, because when you take on the understanding and the knowledge of somebody else, you have to make sure that this person's knowledge and understanding heads towards the direction you wanted in, because you don't want to break away and break into the old life that you were trying to get away from. So that's what I believe, Dr. Toni.
I like that, Tichet. While you were talking, I was thinking about the attractive thinkers that are listening to this message. I want you to understand the breaking away process, because a lot of times you're in the breaking. Now, here's the deal. If you're an attractive thinker, which I know you are, you will always be breaking away. So get used to this, because there's no end to us. We will always be breaking away from an old self and into a new self, an old system and into a new system. So get used to this breaking away process and learn from the first breaking away, because you're going to need those tools, lessons, and blessings for the next breaking away. Okay. So this is our lifestyle. We live beyond the break. Okay. And we're always evolving and changing and growing. We don't get comfortable. Attractive thinkers do not get comfortable. As soon as we get comfortable, we understand that we're not growing. We've stopped growing. And we get antsy in comfort. We get uncomfortable with comfort, because we know that we're supposed to be moving and shaking and making things happen. We know that there's more. We know there's more to create, more of life to experience, more of us to become, more of life to have. I want you to understand that, attractive thinker. So this breaking away is not like, oh my God, yes, I broke away and I've accomplished some things and I made some progress in my life and that's it. It's not, that's it. As long as you're breathing, there's always another breaking away, because you'll always be growing and getting greater and getting better and being more and understanding more. So I want you to understand this breaking away process. A lot of times we're breaking away and we don't have words for it. We feel it. The things that used to be funny aren't funny anymore. The people I used to hang out with, I'm not all that enthused about scheduling those gatherings or showing up in those spots anymore. The things that used to make me cry, I now see, I have clarity about them. They don't hurt as bad. The goals I used to have, I'm not really enthused about accomplishing those goals right now. I have goals, my goals are beyond materialistic things now. You're breaking away. That's a sign of breaking away. That's a sign of change. Something's changing inside of you, and we need to know what that looks like. We need to know what's happening in our lives, because other than that, we'll think something's wrong with us, or here I go again. Why is it all the time, every time when things are calm, and comfortable, here I go again with another idea. Oh, we can do this, or we could do that, or we could go here, we could be this, or we could build or create that. Here I go again. You need to understand what's happening. There's a breaking away of the old and an introduction to the new. And that's why you need people around you, like attractive thinkers, who can see beyond the break, who understands what life is like beyond the break, who's used to living beyond the break, so that you don't think you're crazy. Now, there's something that has to take place in us before we break away, or we will view it as one thing when it's really something else. For example, we'll stay in certain situations, be it a job, a school, a church, a meeting, a position, a relationship, a city, a country, we don't, whatever it is that you're breaking away from. We'll stay too long, we'll overstay our welcome, thinking that maybe it's money that I need. I'll wait till I get the money and then I'll do it. When in actuality, it's not the money, it's fear. Or you'll say, I'm staying here. We'll overstay our welcome in a certain area of our lives, and call it, I don't see my way, or I don't know how this is going to happen. When in actuality, it's a deserving factor. I want you to think about this for a moment. If you believe that you deserved better, or deserved a life beyond the break, or you deserve to evolve and grow, you deserve to have something greater. If you really believe that you deserve that, you would go for it whether you had money or not. You would take the leap. You would jump. You would run. You would forge ahead, whether you had the money or not, or whether people supported you or not, or whether you had all the details or not, whether you had all the instructions, or you knew the how, so to speak, it was going to happen. You would move forward without anything. How many times in our lives, Tichet, that we've done that? We've moved forward. We didn't have the money. I didn't have the money when I decided to homeschool all four of our kids. I didn't consider whether we could afford to do that or not. I researched homeschool, and I saw that it would be extremely beneficial and the effects would be so lasting beyond the courses, and that I felt as though it would be great for our children. And we withdrew them from the public school system and homeschooled them for 11 years straight, 11 years straight. I didn't know what curriculum was. I didn't know where to even purchase curriculum. Are you hearing me, attractive thinker? I didn't have the how. I didn't have all my T's crossed and my I's dotted. I didn't have the instructions and the details, and had a plan. I didn't have a plan. I just looked at it and I researched it, and I spent hours on the internet looking up different homeschool venues and homeschool forums, getting in on homeschool conversations. And I said, this will be very beneficial and lasting for our children. And I pulled them out of the school system. I had to even research on how do you withdraw your children from the public school system? I didn't know. So I didn't wait until I figured all of that out and then I decided to pull them out. I pulled them out and I figured it out as I went. Now, that's a lesson learned that we can apply to a lot of situations in our lives where we're breaking away, we're changing, evolving, transforming, growing, doing something new in our lives, be it starting a business, writing a book, becoming an entrepreneur, whatever it is. that we want to do that's different, that requires effort, that requires the new. New means new, change means change. Transform means leave the old and become something new. And in order for us to do that, we have to know ourselves, we have to trust ourselves, and we have to believe in ourselves. I want you to think about that. We have to know ourselves. See, this is really these are the tools and the keys and the strategies that are really going. This is the internal gifts that we have. These are the internal gifts that we have that are going to move us forward when we tap into them. This is the power that we already have access to. Knowing myself. When you know yourself, you know what to do with yourself. You know where to take yourself. You know where to place yourself, where to plant yourself. You know what's good for yourself when you know yourself. You know what decisions to make, what people to connect with, who not to connect with. But when you don't know yourself, how can you know these things and you don't know yourself? When you trust yourself. See, I've been through some things in my life where I lost trust in myself. I was like, you know what? I'm a good person. I try to help everybody, and I love God, and I put Him first. I consult God in the things that I do. If this can happen to somebody like me, then I don't have nothing else to put my trust in. I don't trust life anymore. I don't trust the process. I don't trust God. See, this is real talk, attractive thinker. Life can serve you something on a platter that can, make you lose trust in yourself, trust in people, and trust in God. That's possible. But those are some vital keys that you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose your trust key. You don't want to lose your trust because you need that to go throughout the rest of your life. You're going to have to trust people. You're going to have to trust God again, and you're going to have to trust yourself if you're going to make it in this life. If you're going to reach any types of successes in your life, you have to trust yourself. I trust myself again. I trust myself to pursue this again. I trust myself to take that step again. I trust myself to be independent. I trust myself to be able to handle this life beyond the break. I trust myself, meaning I trust myself doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes. That's not what trusting myself means. Trusting myself means that I'm good enough. I'm worth the investment. That it's going to be okay. Whether I make this decision or that decision, I know that I'm going to be okay because of who I am. I know who I am, and I know whose I am. You got to establish that. You got to establish that foundation way before you decide that you're going to break away. Way before you decide to become anything greater than who you are right now, who you are expressing right now, because there's a greater version of all of us. But we tend to express only certain parts of ourselves, only certain versions of ourselves, because that's comfortable. We've been doing that for years. But if you want anything greater out of life, in which I know you do, because we as attractive thinkers do that. This is how we roll. This is how we show up in the world. We accomplish one thing and we're ready for the next. We're here to create, live, and leave a legacy that continues to speak when we no longer can. So we don't have the luxury of falling back and getting comfortable and staying there for 10 years. We don't have that luxury. So I want to encourage you. I want to show you what breaking away looks like so that you recognize it in your life. You say, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. Oh, I'm breaking away. A breaking away is a natural process. And when you find yourself breaking away, just get ready. Say, oh, it's time for me to grow. Back to you, Tichet.
Wow, you said so many things that got my mind stirred up right now. But you talked about knowing and knowing ourselves, trusting ourselves, and believing on ourselves. The thing about it is that is a continuous process,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to trust the process. You can't lose trust in the process. So once you know yourself, trust yourself, and believe in yourself, you know God, you trust God, you believe in God, you have to trust the process that He has placed upon you, and know that you will make it out. Another thing that I wanted to bring forth was not underestimating yourself, your gift, and your capabilities. Because when you underestimate yourself, that spirit of not worthy, that spirit of not being worth anything, or not feeling like you deserve, on that undeserving feeling, that is a hindrance right there. That's one of those things that can hold you back completely, because even if the blessing showed up in your face, you're not going to accept it. Even if the light switch was right there, you're not going to flip it. Even if the light was already like on in a different room, you're not going to walk towards it, because you don't feel like you deserve to be a person, or you are worth a person who can be in light. So you don't want to underestimate yourself, underestimate how far you can go, don't want to underestimate your strength. You don't want to underestimate your power, and you don't want to underestimate your gift. So there was a couple things, Dr. Toni, when you talked about going through, putting your children through homeschool, not having all of your resources showed up as you went along, right? You said you were figuring things out as you walk forward. Your resources showed up as you were figuring things out, but you were moving forward. The thing that you had to do was let go of the old way of schooling. So that art of letting go, let me tell you something. If you can learn the art of letting go, you'd be surprised how much more gems and jewels you can gain with the art of letting go. It becomes a cycle. You grab something, you enjoy it, you let it go, it's a cycle. You grab something, you enjoy it, you let it go, it's a cycle. You grab something else, you enjoy it, you let it go, it's a cycle. There's a time to let go and a time to hold on. A lot of the reasons why we hold on to things that no longer serve us can be, like you said, Dr. Toni, the not feeling worthy, the guilt trip, the feeling like you don't deserve it for whatever reason. I mean, really, we don't really have to have a valid reason to feel unworthy. We don't have to have a valid reason to feel undeserving. Sometimes that can be placed on us by false teaching, by having those generational family sayings, and seeing your family go through traumas and all those things, and all that stuff is in you, has reaped within you, and you wasn't able to break it off. You'll develop that mindset as well. So one of the things we want to break away, make sure, is that old mindset, but the art of letting go is required. Because in order for you to grab the new, you got to let go of the old. You can't have it both ways. You allow yourself to go past that fear, gain that courage to go for the new. Even though you don't know what's over here, you don't have clear understanding, you might not think you're capable of completing what's over here. You don't know if you're equipped. You are equipped. Because when he called you to this, he called you because you were equipped. You don't know what's going on. You feel like you need to have all this together in order to have what's over here, and that's not true. You just got to have the will and the courage, and just believe, trust, and know yourself, and continue to believe, trust, and know yourself over and over again, because we are ever evolving. So like you said, Dr. Toni, attractive thinkers, we're always moving. We're always learning something new. We thrive on learning something new. When we are ever evolving, as you grow and things start to look different, you got to get to know that piece and that part. And Dr. Toni, you said something about hiding. We want to hide parts of ourselves. And to me, those are the things I think we need to expose, hiding from the gift. You say, well, and nobody's going to want to listen to me. You don't know until you open your mouth and see what actually happened. You got to be bold. You got to have a boldness to you. Be able to accept what you think and what you believe until you're taught otherwise. Be able to accept the things that you love, like, and want to do, the things you're called to, accepting that about yourself, but knowing what that is so that you don't grab somebody else's belief for you. Walking in somebody else's belief and what somebody else say you're supposed to be, at what point do you get to know who you are? At what point do you get to enjoy who you are? How do you expect people to love you when you can't? We are our biggest critics, right? But here's the thing, to love To love God is to love yourself and love the what he created, and understanding that he did not make no mistakes when he created you. So you learn to love yourself and all that you are, and accept your good, your bad. And if you feel as though there's things about you that are ugly that you desire to change, you have the ability to do that. You just need the will to change. And so when we say change, we're saying grow, we're saying become greater. Um, we're saying let go of the old and get the new, but the core of who you are will always remain. So you're growing and building on your core. You're strengthening your mindset. You're grabbing wisdom along the way. And you'll see all of this play out in every area of your life. And Dr. Toni, one of the things I remember when I got into a car accident, you used to always ask me, used to say, what were you talking about in the middle of a car accident? Because we know that nothing is coincidental. All things serve a purpose. All things work together for good. So what was I doing at the moment at that car accident that had to be a defining moment? That had to be a moment where something manifested and I might have not have been paying attention or aware. So it caused me to look at what I was thinking, what I was saying, what was going on in my spirit at the time, because I felt like that was something I needed to look at. I didn't get caught up in being the victim of a car accident because I reaped great rewards out of it, but I had to let go of being a victim and see it for what it is. So one of the things that you also said, Dr. Toni, is the reason we understand for why we're leaving might actually be something else. And we learn that along the way. I'm not sure if that's the way you put it, but we learn it along the way. In other words, the reason is revealed. So as we go, you start to say, oh, that's why I did that. That's why that happened. Oh, that hurt. But yeah, because of that, that's why I did this. And then you start to be grateful and have gratitude for every area of your life. Listen, you have learned to love yourself, and you have done the breaking away process of the old and accept the new when you start to live in gratitude. When you start being grateful for every tear that's cried, for every smile you smile, for every word spoken, when you start to have gratitude for every lesson learned, you know that you broke away the old mindset that kept you hindered and made you feel like that you were unworthy, or made you feel like you didn't deserve, made you feel like you were guilty or obligated to serve other people, but wasn't allowed to care for yourself. There's a difference between selfish and self-care. Self-care is necessary. We have to have self-care, because how good can you be for somebody else and serve somebody else if you haven't learned to take care of yourself? Even in a flight, if your plane is going down, they tell you to put your mask on yourself and then help your neighbor. Because what good would it do if you're helping everybody put their mask on and then you turn around and then you're dying? Number one, you don't know what the other people are capable of. You so quick to come to the rescue of everybody else, and you haven't seen what they were capable of. Sometimes we are getting in the way of other people's processes, trying to become a crutch. So we have to learn discernment, knowing when it's time to do stuff, taking away, breaking off that guilt, that feeling the need to rescue everybody. Be there for people, yes. Help one another, yes, absolutely. But there is also such a thing as crippling one another. So you have to know that you have to know what time it is when it comes to serving. And to do that, you have to gain discernment. And to do that, you have to get to know the difference between your voice and that of the spirit. You have to know that this is what your mindset is, so that you can give the right information to the person and not get in the way of their process, because people have to learn the same way you have to learn. We want to make sure everybody has everything they need, but the truth of the matter is some people you can't cut out the cocoon too soon. We want to cut them out because we don't like to see people struggle. We didn't like to struggle. We wish somebody would have got us out, but the truth of the matter is it's the pushing out, the breaking away from the cocoon, from that place of stuff that caused our wings to sprout the way that it is. And it is the reason why we're able to fly to new heights. So that breaking away process is very It's not easy. It really is not. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, the breaking away is easy. Oh, just break it off. It's not easy. And yes, sometimes it can hurt because you're trading one life for another. You know, you're walking away from things that you've always thought you knew, or walking away from things that people have taught you for majority of your life in order to discover the real things that God has for you. Your real life awaits for you to take the will, the courage, and step out of the fear, learning to let go and discover the new life that's waiting for you. Back to you, Dr. Tony.
That's good, Tichet. I got a lot out of what you were saying, and I wanted to share with the attractive thinkers, in this breaking away process, one of the first things, you might be listening to this message, you might say, well, Dr. Toni, how do I break away? I'm in the middle. I'm not where I used to be, and I'm not where I want to be, where I'm going, and I feel stuck in this process. So, what I would say to you, attractive thinker, is number one, you have to make a decision. You say, well, Dr. Toni, I made the decision. I want you to go back and make the decision again. Make the decision. Get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left side of that line, I want you to write down all the reasons why you should stay. On the right side, I want you to write down all the reasons why you should leave, why you should go, why you should break away. Okay? And then you look at them. Look at this list, these two columns, and weigh your pros and your cons. See, this is how you need tools to make a decision. You just can't say, well, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, because that decision is not anchored. It's not strong enough to handle what you're going to encounter along the way to that goal. If you just pull a decision out your back pocket and say, I'm going to do this, well, when you encounter some opposition along the way, is that decision strong enough? Is it fortified enough? Is it weighty enough to handle what you're going to face along the way? If not, then what that obstacle, that thing you encounter along the way, is going to make you run right back to where you came from. Even though you said you made a decision, your decision has to be thought out. It has to be well thought out. You have to consider the decision that you're making, and be honest and truthful with yourself. Is this what you really want? Is this what you really want? Or is this what somebody around you wants for you? Is this what you were taught to want? Is this what you want that will make everybody happy? Or is this what you, the authentic you, really wants for your life? This is your life. It would be a sad day if we get to the end of our lives and realize that we were living our lives for someone else, or for something else, or living a lie, living an imitated version of ourselves, and we never got a chance. We never took the opportunity to be who we really were in this life. See, this is why it's important to really see. You want to listen to this message again and get it in on a deeper level to support you in uprooting whatever it is that's keeping you from breaking away. Whatever it is, in order for you to really use these tools and to go deep and listen to this message again, you have to first make a decision. Do I want to break away or not? That's the bottom line. Do I want to break away or not? Do I want to do this because I think I'm going to get some great thing from it? Or am I saying that I want to do this because somebody told me that on the other side of this, it's this big old thing that I'm supposed to get, this big old prize? Am I seeking to break away because I'm mad? Because I'm mad about something? Am I making the decision to break away because I heard that so-and-so broke away and this is what happened for them, so maybe it'll happen for me too? No, get to your truth. Get to your truth. Do you want to break away or don't you? And then why? Why? Fortify your why. Get clear on your why. And here's part two. I want you to anticipate and expect the obstacles. See, when I stepped out into life, I didn't know life had a plan. I had a plan for my life, but I didn't know life had a plan for me. So When you step out and you're breaking away, when you step out of that comfort zone, don't act like you're not just because, and that's another thing I did. I thought maybe, oh yeah, God is on my side, so everything is going to work out to my pleasing. And I didn't anticipate what I was to encounter. What came my way could have killed me. It could have killed me literally if I wasn't anchored in my truth. If I wasn't anchored in if I didn't know who I really was. See, life can throw you a curveball and you forget who you are. Life will throw you a curveball and you could care less about trust or peace or joy or happiness. Life can throw you a curveball and you forget what your name is. You forget why you're even here. You can't even find a meaning for all of this anymore. Life can throw you a curveball and you just throw your hands up and say, whatever, whatever. It doesn't even matter anymore. Whatever, I don't even care anymore. But when you're anchored, let me tell you something. Even when you get to that place where you say, you know what, whatever, I'm done. If you're anchored, that's only for a season. That whatever, I don't care attitude or spirit or energy, that doesn't last. Because greatness is always just what it is. It's great. And that greatness is going to be what it always is, great. And that greatness is designed to do things. You're not great just to be great. That greatness will pull you through all kinds of heavens and hells on earth. That greatness won't let you lay there too much longer. You'll find yourself getting up with your hair all over your head and wiping your face and going to finish writing the book, broken and all, because greatness is a driving force. And it will push you through, it will pull you through anything in life that you have to encounter, but you have to trust your greatness. See, that's where that knowing and trusting and believing comes in. It. You have to know you're great. And you have to know that and trust that greatness has its own, it's its own entity. Greatness is its own spirit. It has its own set of instructions. You may not know what you have to encounter, but greatness knows how to handle it. And when you yield over to greatness, I know who I am, I trust myself, I believe in the greatness that's in me. It will get you through things that you never imagined that you would be able to accomplish and conquer and overcome. So you have to establish the foundation. Did I mention money while I was talking? I didn't mention money at all. Money didn't even come up in this conversation. I didn't say you had to have this amount of money or that amount of money, or you have to wait until you build this up or build that up, or you got to figure out where you're going to get this from and where you're going to get that from. No, because once you know yourself and you trust yourself and you believe yourself, you're going to go after what you want in life. And money will chase you instead of you chasing money. The money for the things that you desire to accomplish with your life will come. You'll attract them because you made a decision and you fortified that decision. You got real crystal clear on it. Let me share something with you, attractive thinker, how important it is to make a decision and be certain that this is what I'm going to do. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. When you're going on vacation or you're going out of town or whatever, and you're trying to get to the hotel, right? And you've encountered a storm. We all have been there. You encountered a storm. Not one time did you say, you know what? We're going to turn around and go back to where we came. Not one time. You may say, well, let's pull off on the side of the road. Let's pull off on the next rest stop until the storm passes. You never considered turning around and going back home because you had a destination. You were committed to the destination. It's the same thing with your goals in life. Once you make the decision, you're crystal clear, whatever you encounter, you automatically know you're going to conquer it because you haven't reached your destination yet. You know you have to reach that destination. So if you're not there yet, you know that you're going to overcome this because you got to get to the destination. So with that perspective, it helps you to move through the obstacles easier. But if you haven't made that decision, as soon as you face the obstacle, you're going to be like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm out here anyway. I don't even know why I tried anyway. I don't even know why I thought I could do better anyway, or have more anyway, or do something different anyway. I don't even know what made me think that something great was going to come my way. You hit an obstacle, and all of a sudden your thoughts are all over the place. Your emotions are all over the place. You can't even get a grip because your decision wasn't anchored. It wasn't fortified with truth and integrity and trust and belief. You got to fortify your decision, or your decisions are empty. Faith without works is dead. Your faith needs works in order for it to manifest. So your decision needs your truth. It needs your authenticity. It needs your trust and your belief. In order to be, your decision is strong enough to handle the obstacles that you're going to encounter along the way. Back to you, Tichet.
Very well said. It sounds to me like we have to flip the script, because when you said anticipate those obstacles, that's not something you hear everywhere. You say anticipate obstacles, but see, here's the thing. When you do that, you are committed to taking the good and the bad, but you're committed to going regardless.
Yes.
So that commitment to going becomes your why until you grab another why. But assess our why, assess why we're leaving. Are we leaving because we're mad? So the intentions behind what we do will speak as we're going, as we're doing things, as we assess, it will speak. You'll see your tension, create a why until you get a stronger why, until you get another why, and you just allow it to pull you through. But anticipating, having that mindset that, okay, I understand that I'm committed to this journey. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some things that I'm going to be able to do. Understanding that when hurdles come, they are not stop signs. They are not, quicksand. They're not meant to make you drown. And even if you should get your foot stuck in quicksand, you know that you can get out of quicksand. This is not a death sentence and a stuck sentence. Obstacles do be put in your way, but it is not to stop you. Because when you got called upon this journey, you got called with the intent that you will win in the end, that you will make it. You were created to win. So the flipping the script, not having that, I have to have everything perfect in mind when we go. So then when we come against an obstacle, we're so shocked and surprised that we had anything, and then we'll say, oh, well, maybe it's not meant. And we'll turn away from, how many things we would not have now if people who didn't have a perfect journey stopped. Some of the things we enjoy or feel like is a necessity of life, we would not have if the people who created it had stopped on their first obstacle. So that anticipating the obstacles and expecting them, that is very well said, because you don't expect to come across anything. You think everything is smooth sailing, and you have a false sense of how this is going to go. And at the first sight of something, you start losing who you are. You start forgetting, like you said, Dr. Tony, you said you forget your own name. If you ever been through anything that made you forget, that is something you have to have the will to carry, to jump over. You have to have that will to push. That will to push is everything right now, because once you make that decision and you're going forward in on this journey, and you're committed to this journey, there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you. Like you said, when you're traveling down the road and storms start to happen, you don't turn around and say, oh, I'm going to go back home. A lot of times we might pull over to the side, let some of the storms subside, assess what's going on with the road, make sure we can see. But you don't turn around and say, you know what, forget it, I'm going home. Especially when you have a designation, you have an intent, you have a purpose. If you're just going for a joyride in life, then yeah, you'll let anything stop you because you don't have a purpose or why to drive you. But if you have a purpose, an intent, and a destination, you're not going to let anything stop you. You're going to come get what you came here for. And that's what we want in life. We want to come get what we came here for. And that is discovered as we walk along the way, as we move, as we go forward. That is discovered. There's a time to be still and there's a time to move. Again, discernment is key, so that you know when to go, when to stop, when to push, when to rest. Giving birth, you don't push, but you push, rest, push, rest. But you have people in that room that will remind you. So when it gets too hard, they'll remind you when to push, when to rest, if you shall forget. This is why we're here. Dr. Tony's helping you guys, giving you the guys the tools and things that you need in order to give birth. And I'm just simply reminding you that you came here to give birth, that it is okay to give birth, that you are stronger than what it seems. So we together are coming together to make sure you don't abort your vision. We are making sure that you come full, you carry that thing full term and give birth to a new healthy vision, to a new healthy life, because you deserve it. You deserve it. So knowing that, we encourage you to keep moving forward, to go towards light. Hold on to the light as much as possible. Stay focused, stay committed. Have some true realistic expectations, but don't be afraid to think above that. Don't be afraid to dream high and go wide and go far. Don't be afraid to break out of the average and the norm. Don't be afraid to come out of mediocrity, even if you've never seen it done. This is why I always call y'all trailblazers and pathfinders. You got to be willing to go and carve yourself a new path if nobody never carved it before. You got to be able to break away the sticks and stones and move them out the way, move all these mountains so that you can have the life that you dream, and then also the generations behind you can enjoy the fruits too. They can enjoy your overflow. So, very well said, Dr. Tony. Having that mindset, flipping that script and having that mindset, that it's not going to always be perfect, but it will be good in the end. It will be favorable in the end. And as we said before, favorable plus favorable is favorable. Favorable plus unfavorable is favorable. So either way, at the end of the day, you win. Back to you, Dr. Tony.
Awesome. I like that. You win, attractive thinker. At the end of the day, either way, you win. I want to leave a powerful gem and a jewel with you before we close out our session for today. I want you to think, and this came to me, Tichet, as you were talking, because and here's my notebook. When you see me with my head down, I'm writing in my notebook, okay? So attractive thinkers, when you know me by now, when people talk in words, I see in pictures. So I have to capture that while they're talking so that it doesn't go away. I don't lose it, okay? So while you were talking to Shet, you were talking about these obstacles, and the purpose of obstacles came before me. And I want to share that with the attractive thinkers today. Obstacles, and I have to read it the way I wrote it down. And that's why it's important. And I always encourage my clients to do this. When you get inspirational revelation or clarity on something, you have to write it down right then. Don't wait. Don't say, oh, I'll write it down afterwards, because it'll be gone. And even if you have a well-rounded idea of what it was about, you can't capture it the way it came. See, the way it came is more important than what came. I want you to think about that. The way it came, because words have power. And when you put one word in front of the other, you move words apart and you separate words, they have an impact. They have an impact. And if you can't remember that inspiration when it came to you, it loses its impact. Have you ever heard something and when you heard it, it was like, it touched you in a deeper way, it made an impact. And if you can't capture it, you can write down what, a paraphrase, we call it paraphrase. You can paraphrase, it's not going to have the same impact. It's not going to affect you like it did when you first heard it. So attractive thinkers already know we capture inspiration when it comes to us because it's sharp and it's fast and it's effective and we're able to use it. So while you were talking to Shet, the purpose of obstacles came before me. This right here will help us when we encounter obstacles. It'll help us get through them with the right perspective, with the right attitude, and anticipating the right outcome, okay? So your obstacles have a purpose, and we are we are taught, we feel like we have to avoid them. You know, if somebody said, oh, obstacles, oh, I'm gonna run around that, I don't want to go over that, or I don't want to encounter that. Most of the time we avoid obstacles, but yeah, obstacles have a purpose. They create stories. Okay, they create stories. Your obstacles do. If when I get to my destination and I say, oh, you greet the guests who you're going to meet or whatever, they say, oh, where you came from? Well, I came from Maryland, and I drove all the way to California. And you get to California, and that's all you say. They say, oh, how long did it take you to get there? Oh, about 3 days. Oh, good. Come on, let's go to. Where's the story? What's interesting about that? There's nothing interesting about that. But if I say I came from Maryland and I drove for 3 days and we ran into some turbulence, and guess what happened? We were able to overcome it. I didn't even know I had this tool in my trunk. I just went back there. I don't even go in my trunk that often, but I had this tool in my trunk. And you know, the tool that I pulled out, it had three to choose from. I didn't know which one to choose. The one I chose really helped us get through that storm. Can you believe that? And it adds to the story. And when you tell that story, other people get lessons from your story, all because of you were willing to overcome the obstacles. You were willing to face the obstacles head on. Your obstacles give you a testimony. Other than that, who cares whether you drove from Maryland and made it to California? Who cares? What would pique their interest, what would get their attention if you encounter some lions, tigers, and bears along the way, and you still made it to California. You may have made it with a scratch on your arm. Your arm might be bandaged. Just, oh my God, what happened to your arm? Do you know a bear came out and I was able to get away? That adds to your story, and people get lessons. They get answers from hearing your testimony. So our obstacles have a purpose, meaning the obstacle intensifies the journey. You know, you add more fun and flavor to an experience when you you encounter some unexpected things that you didn't anticipate along the way, and you got through them. Sometimes the journey, what you encounter along the way, is more memorable and goes down in the history of your family members' memory more than the place you were trying to get to. Sometimes it's what you encounter along the way that has a greater impact and a lasting effect on you and those around you than just your agenda about you getting to where you want to get to. And if we don't see our obstacles in this light, we're discounting an opportunity to be greater, to learn more, to experience more, to get the juice out of this experience. Because we're discounting an obstacle. We have a bad taste in our mouth about obstacles and challenges. We try to overlook them, or ignore them, or move them out of the way, discount them, don't want to be bothered with them. And the whole time, the answer that we're looking for is in the challenge. The strength that we're looking for is in the challenge. The tenacity, the fortitude. Sometimes you hear people say, I wish I was stronger. I wish I was strong like you. Or I wish I had what it takes. Go through the challenges. Be open to the challenges. They come with gifts of strength and gifts of fortitude. They give you that tenacity that you need. And the beautiful part about it is, when you acquire these gifts through obstacles in one situation, you can use those gifts in other situations, those gifts of strength and fortitude and fire and passion and drive and creativity. Once you acquire them in one challenge, they carry over. You can take them and use them in another challenge. So our obstacles have a purpose. The obstacle is what gives the listener, the observer, the answers that they're looking for. When you stand before people, be it on a phone, on a Zoom session, on a stage, or whatever, and you tell your story, people draw in closer when you get to the obstacles. Because why? Because they want to know, what did you do? And as soon as you share what you did, it gives them an answer to apply to an obstacle that's in their lives. We overcome. You've heard the scripture, you overcome by the words of your testimony. Don't come at me with no, I got from A to B and there was nothing in between. How you can't help me with that. You can't help me with that. That's not even real life. Because real life will throw you some, will say, okay, you made a decision. And you know, I want to give you a different perspective of life, because I thought life was out to hurt me and get me, when in actuality, life was out to help me. And I had to be willing to embrace the help. Okay. You hear people say, okay, you've made your decision and you're going out there and you're going to go from A to B. Well, life is here to help you to make sure that the person you are at A is not the person that you become at B. Life is there to ensure that you become a totally different person by the time you get to B, by the time you break away. Because see, we're not breaking away to stay the same. We're breaking away to become greater. And life helps us. It gets in the mix. It says, okay, in order for you to become greater, you're going to need some strength. So I have to throw some obstacles in there that will help you strengthen your muscle. In order for you to break away and stay away and not retreat and go back, and I got to help you close that door back there. So life will get in the mix and cause things to happen, cause people to hurt you to the core, to the point where as you say it out your mouth, I'm never going back there. Well, that's what life was trying to get you to the point. It was trying to get you right there. But sometimes it takes these obstacles to get us to the place where we're willing to move forward no matter what it takes. Tichet, tell our audience how they can stay in touch with you, the visual encourager.
Yes, you can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers, people who desire to move mountains. And we will help you lift the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my contact us page, put in your information, let me know how I can ignite you, uplift you, and encourage you so you can live a life of fulfillment beyond the break. That's www.visualencouragement.com.
Awesome. Attractive Thinkers, we trust that you have gathered some gems along the way, that you have captured these lessons and the insights and the blessings from this message of breaking away. I want you to visit our website, theattractivethinker.guru, that's .guru. Scroll down to the bottom and register for your free Get Unstuck coaching session. You deserve that, an opportunity for me, the attractive thinker, to shine the light on where you are, give you the clarity that you need so that you can make a sound decision about what direction you're going in and be fortified with whatever it takes. You're going to reach that next level for yourself. You're going to reach that greater version of yourself. You're going to live life beyond the break. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your Break the Cycle specialist, here to support you with living beyond the break. You always hear me say, it's not what you're going through, it's how you're doing. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.